Time for Legal Eagles, and changes could be on the way to the state's workers' comp law yet again.
Joining us now and telling us more on why that could be a bad thing for employees, we have Jim Higgins from the Higgins firm. Another change for workmen's comp?
Yeah, well, you know, the legislature's back in session and there's just bills and bills are coming in. And one thing that they've addressed over the past few years, and they're doing again, is the workers' comp laws. And there's been this trend over the past few years to kind of take away things from the worker.
Okay.
And I guess it depends on what side you're on that, but it's a little disheartening for people like my office that represents employees, because there's really just limited benefits now as it is. I mean, the comp law's there to get people medical care and get them a check while they're healing and get them back to work. And and to take away from those modest compensation that you have right now is a little tough. But two things that are kind of big is, one is they're trying to take away repetitive injuries from the work comp law. So in other words, carpal tunnel or anything that you do from overuse that creates a problem, they're saying, okay, that's not going to be covered in the comp law. And what's hard about that is, you know, they're all just kind of a case-by-case basis. If I've got somebody that's worked as a mechanic for 20 years and every day he comes in and uses power tools and he starts developing a problem with his hand, then it's probably work-related.
Right.
You know, and to say that he's not going to get any help or he can't get any type of medical care for that is I think a little harsh. But that is one thing that the committee is considering and putting through right now.
And there's a second item as well then that they're talking about?
The other one that's interesting is that right now if you're a drug-free workplace and someone tests positive for drugs, there's a presumption that that's what caused the accident, which I think everybody's fine with. You know, nobody can come in and say we're for drugs.
Right.
But what happens is they're trying to change that to say if you test positive that you just don't get any benefits, or that the burden to get some benefits is so hard you won't. And the problem with that is, you know, I've seen cases where people have had something in their system that may have been from a week prior. I've had accidents where were clearly not their fault, where they were, you know, accidentally struck by another employee, you know, with a hammer or things like that I've had happen that there was no way they could avoid. And you're really just punishing that person for something that had nothing to do with a positive drug screen. So it just seems that, you know, we're taking away what our system is for, and that's really to take these cases as they come.
So for right now, where do we stand on this? Because you said these are bills that are appearing before them, and you think they're going to be passed, or what's going to happen next?
You know, who knows? I think a majority with the legislative changes, if it's deemed to be more pro-business, it seems that those things are getting through. So there's a good chance that these bills or some of these form of these bills may pass. So if you've got opinion either for or against it, you know, now's your time to call.
Right. There's really a move on Capitol Hill to sort of deregulate and to make it easier on business right now. You were talking about tort reform. I know you've been on here talking about that. So these are the sort of bills that we're seeing, and business friendly perhaps, but not necessarily lawyer friendly.
Yeah, you know, or client friendly. I mean, it's just hard. I just hate putting everything in this blanket, no more benefits than this. And the same thing with the caps and things like that. There's cases that they're just not good for. And it's hard for the legislature to say, okay, we're taking that away from the judge and the jury, and we're going to tell you what it's worth.